Welcome to another Regen Rovers recap, where today I will be reviewing our very successful 9th season. I'd just like to start off by saying thank you for the continued support on the series. Thank you to everyone that watched Season 9 of Regen Rovers. However, I do know there's some of you that only watch these recaps, and I appreciate your support as well, of course. So as you can see, champions of League 2, Regen Rovers, with 86 points, finishing 3 points ahead of Oxford United in the end. 24 wins, 14 draws, only 8 defeats all season. It really was a magnificent campaign from us. We were top of the table for the majority of the season, as you can see there. We almost slipped up in the end, but we managed to get over the line. We stumbled over the line with quite a poor end to the season, really. Best attack in the league, 94 goals scored, easily the best attack. Defensively not the best, and I think we do need to work on our defence in the summer if we want to stand a chance of doing anything in League 1 next year. If you look at this, Mark Ball, top goal scorer in the league, 33 goals. Ryan Curtis second. Mark Ball, the highest average rating. I will put a link in the description below to vote for your player of the season via the Regen Rovers Twitter. But surely Mark Ball was going to win. I just can't see you guys voting for anyone else, really. I'm sure there'll be some of you that do, but Mark Ball was insane. Most assists, by the way, Burrows and Curtis with 13 each. Adrian Burrows has been a good left back for us, but I don't know if we'll keep him in the summer. Because if we think about defensively, we've not been that great. Obviously, going forwards, he has been good, but I don't think defensively he's particularly strong. I do just want to show you a few statistics before we move on. Because if we look at the team statistics, as you can see, most goals from corners, most yellow cards, most red cards, the highest number of fouls made, the most tackles won. I mean, we're just top of most things, including our terrible discipline. 91 yellow cards, that's miles ahead of Southend in second. Also the most red cards, the most tackles won, most fouls. It's just been, we were so intense. I think our style of play is intense. And but it worked. At the end of the day, it worked, and we got promoted despite our pretty poor discipline this year. Let's have a look at the overall best 11 then. So it has changed a bit. No surprises with Okoro in goal and Avison and Casey as our two centre-backs. But Assini's actually moved to right-back now because he was playing right-back this season, I suppose. So it has switched him across there. And Rob Halliday's at left-back. There are a few random additions. We've got Matty Ratty in there, Thomas Smith, and this guy who's actually Josh Mann. But because he's retired from football, it's reverted back to his original name because Josh Mann was his nickname, one of our Patreon players. So that is Josh Mann there. Toby Brazil has got into the overall best 11 now, despite only playing 87 times for the club so far. Owusu and Sean Walker. Sean Walker's still at the club, 25 years old now, in the under-23s, in the reserves. There's going to be some players leaving in the summer, but it's going to be so hard to let the likes of Sean Walker leave because he's just a club legend, he really is. And then up front, Paul McCann, which I'm surprised he's ahead of Agu, to be honest, who's not even in the best 18. And then Mark Ball, who's already broken into the best 11, and Ryan Curtis, who's only played 45 games. So that's a bit bizarre. I don't really know what sort of thought process, what algorithms go into place here to pick the best 11. If we look at this season though, this is the best 11 this year, and I don't think you can argue with this. I think Lucas Long overall was slightly better than Matthew Avison this season, but the inconsistency at the back is a problem. We need to build a back line that is consistent and keeps clean sheets and protects David Okoro because he has so many shots fired in on him, and it is a problem. Regen Rovers end of season awards, no surprise. Mark Ball, 77% of the fans' votes to win player of the season, with Ryan Curtis and Grant Hunt in third. Now that's a surprise. So 3 strikers. I guess attackers are more likely to finish high up on this list, although we've had Marcus Higgins up there. We've had Assini up there towards the top, and Okoro, of course, who still isn't on the favoured personnel. But Mark Ball has broken into the icons list along with captain Marcus Higgins and Samuel Assini. I think I might have to change the captain in the summer because Marcus Higgins just doesn't play enough football. I think this is the right time to change that. Of course, if you missed the last episode of the season, I am now a legend of the club, and the favoured personnel consists of Ugachukwu Agu, Alec McCann still, and Morgan Falk still on that list. I feel like someone's dropped off that list. I can't remember who though, off the top of my head. We'll have a look at goal of the season in a second. Young player of the season, Mark Ball, because he's just still 24. Signing of the season. That's a surprising one. Why is Joe O'Shaughnessy signing of the season when the likes of Ryan Curtis finished second and Grant Hunt finished third in the Fans Player of the Season award? That doesn't really make sense, does it? Shall we have a look at the records whilst we're here? Goose still has scored the most goals for the club, still scored the most league goals for the club, but Mark Ball isn't that far behind. I think he's going to catch him up. Mark Ball, although he didn't break Alec McCann's record of 34 goals in one season, he's now joint with Alec McCann with 34 goals in one season. He does actually have the record for the most league goals in one season. David Okoro still made the most appearances, of course. Oh, in fact, it has updated to show Mark Ball here, even though Alec McCann is level with him with that record. Attendance-wise, we have broken our competitive attendance record against Oxford United, just at the penultimate game of the season. That was the game that won us the title. So 3,207 people turned up for that. Hopefully we'll see similar attendances in League 2 on a normal basis. Lowest attendance this season, it's always going to be a Football League trophy game, I think. Average attendance, though, definitely has increased. We're up to 1,564, but it's still the lowest in the league, unfortunately. If I just show you the team stats here, look, lowest average attendance in the league, 1,786. Most red cards, most yellow cards. But yeah, hopefully that will improve in League 1 again. It has to keep going up as more people get to know about Regen Rovers. Goal of the season then. Yeah, I remember this. He dribbled from inside his box. Inside our half, Ryan Curtis ran through. In slow motion, it doesn't look very impressive, does it? Because the goal of the season award always shows it in slow motion. But I will put, at the end of this video, some clips of the best goals this season. And you guys can vote via the link in the description below for your favourite goal. Here's the season review. Best game of the season. It really was an insane match against Forest Green. 5-4. Moment to forget. 4-2 defeat against York City. By the way, I will continue a little bit and see who wins the playoffs. And we'll have a look at all the other leagues as well at the end of today's video. Where are they now from the 2021 side? So this was the best 11 in 2021. Where's Constantinu? He has retired. I remember he did leave for Solihull. And that's Josh Mann, remember. That's his original name. Max Keane hasn't managed to find a club yet. See, why don't these players drop down to the other levels? We've got them loaded. It doesn't really make any sense that they don't. Sam Topless, he retired. Barry Miles is, of course, still here. Jason McGee did find a club. He's playing for Tooting and Mitcham. He's probably the only one, really, to find a club. He's doing very well. 7.11 average rating. Well done, Jason McGee. Tom Blankley, he retired as well. Callum Courtney, right back, he retired. Most players just retire. It's a bit sad, really. Squad dynamics, what's going on? Who's our leaders now in the team? Has it changed much? Higgins still up there as club captain, with Okoro as vice captain and Sammy Wassini. But Mark Ball, highly influential player, only been here 2 seasons. Some players are just so important to us. And then there's other players that haven't quite managed to work their way into this pyramid quite yet. But they will over time. Poor old Wes Honour. He's in the others group. Let's have a quick look at the key statistics then from this season. And I'll show you the player spreadsheet. I'll try and remember to put a link to that in the description below as well. But David Okoro, most appearances this season. He is the all-time appearance holder at the club. Mark Ball, top goal scorer. Ryan Curtis, second. Grant Hunt, though. Decent first season from young Grant Hunt. 19 years old, 11 goals, mainly off the bench. Ryan Curtis is only 20. He's had a very impressive first season. And Mark Ball just keeps getting better and better. He's 24. You know, he's sort of in that period, the start of his prime, I suppose. He's going to be good enough for League One. I've no doubt about it. Wayne Burns as well, only 20. Really good stuff from him on the right wing this season. 8 goals, 6 assists in all competitions. Unfortunately, quite a few things going down at the moment in training. That might be because it's the end of the season. Toby Brazil, then David Okoro there. Assists-wise, Ryan Curtis and Adrian Burrows at left-back, who I'm undecided as to whether he's going to stay at the club or not. He might want too much money. And defensively, shoddy. Going forwards, great. But at the back, we need to build a solid base, don't we? Mark Ball contributed 46 goals this year. 34 goals, 12 assists. Insane stuff. Wes Honour from the left. Also, decent first season for him. I made some good signings last year, and it made a real difference, didn't it? That really good pre-season. Look at the Man of the Match awards for Mark Ball, incredible. And we only had 2 players manage to get over a 7 average rating. Mark Ball and Ryan Curtis leading the way, but then Wayne Burns, Grant Hunt did well, Adrian Burrows of course with those assists, David Okoro and goal, consistent again. He's always around about this mark. It's very hard for a goalkeeper to get over about 6.9 average rating across the season, even finishing top of the table. So yeah, that is a good season from David Okoro. If we just have a look at him, he is only a 2-star player, and apparently he's only really good enough as a backup for us, but he just pulls off remarkable saves. He plays really well for us, he really does. And his average ratings, he's actually got some very good average ratings. These were exceptional for a goalkeeper to be able to getting over a 7. Since we've made it up to League 2, he has dropped off a bit in terms of his average rating. But I'm not sure that's down to him. I think it's down to our dodgy defence more than anything. And he did pick up 13 clean sheets this year, which isn't bad at all. We'll have a quick look at the players' spreadsheet then. There will be players leaving, of course. These are all the highlighted ones. All the players that have played for the club and have left. But we're up to the 225th player now. And I need to introduce you to these new 5 players, actually, which we'll do in a second. But these players born in 2011. It just seems obscene. This is the sheet where I show you all the key statistics from the season. So most appearances, top goal scorer, etc. You guys will have to vote for the Twitter player of the season. We'll look at those names. It does tend to be attackers. We've had Higgins and Okoro in it, but other than that, it has been strikers. Which, no surprise, that's what our strength has been over the series so far. All our magnificent strikers scoring different goals. Amazing goals at different levels. So Morgan Fawkes, of course, in the 7th tier was amazing for us. And then Agu for a while. Luke Mooney, of course. Alec McCann whilst in the National League. And since getting into the Football League, it's all been about Mark Ball, hasn't it? And he's actually managed to break up to 3rd place already in the all-time top goal scorer award after 2 seasons. 60 goals in 2 seasons from him. Phenomenal stuff, and if he continues to bang in the goals, he might overtake Paul McCann next year. Agu, top goal scorer still though, and he's a long way ahead. Alec McCann is probably never going to return to the club, but never say never. Fawkes and Elliot Avison on there. I mean, Elliot Avison, Luke Mooney, I probably would try and get rid of. Maybe Mark Hole as well. I know he scored the goal that essentially got us promotion in the end, but I don't know. He's not good enough for League One, and I don't think we have such an affinity with him for him to stay. But he's got 30 goals for the club, 10th all-time top goal scorer. It's amazing to see David Okoro here with 9th place, level with Luke Mooney on 37. Ryan Curtis is already there, level with Godwin and Owusu. Basically, any player that's got 20 goals for the club, I put on this list. Most appearances then, David Okoro is approaching 400. He will easily get that next year. I think he deserves to stay as our number 1 goalkeeper. I think it'd be so harsh to sign a goalkeeper that on paper and according to the star ratings would be better than Okoro, but I think he doesn't deserve that. He deserves to be our number 1. Agu, 317 appearances, and Perry Miles, he's one of our own, of course, has now made over 300 appearances for the club. Only our 3rd player to manage to do that. Sean Walker probably won't reach that unless we continue to play lots of Hampshire Senior Cup games and we keep him in the team, I suppose. But Assini's not far behind. He might reach 300 next year, depending on if we sign better fullbacks or not. I do like this. Oh, in fact, I think Kevin Casey should be on here. I've missed Kevin Casey, haven't I? I think he's got 130 odd appearances, so I'd better add him to that list. I did actually make a couple of mistakes previously, and I've had to readjust them. I think Vince Boyle I'd put as 130 when he's actually only made 105 appearances. That's better. I've adjusted it. Kevin Casey moves into 15th place ahead of Max Keane, so any player with 100 appearances for the club is on this list. I should really have included the under-23s in this so you can see all the players that have actually appeared for the club this season, because the likes of Rob Halliday, Morgan Fawkes, they've all made a sub-appearance, as you can see here. Paul McCann made an appearance in the Hampshire Senior Cup. Sean Walker made a couple of appearances in the Hampshire Senior Cups. You can see all the statistics down here for those of you that are interested. And let's move on to the under-23s and under-18s, where both sides had quite magnificent seasons. If you look at the average ratings, Agu's up there with insane stuff. Ken Norman played really well this season. 20 goals, 23 assists. Didn't really feature in the first team though. But there's players that really do fit in very well at this level. But the difference is this year, I didn't arrange the friendlies. I just let my assistant do it, and we were playing some very weak opposition. Tyler Cherrett had a fantastic time in the under-18s. He's a perfectionist, by the way, so he really could be if he had better potential, he'd be a superstar, but unfortunately he doesn't have very good potential, but he should reach that potential. Cole Cooper-Bick, despite being pretty awful, scored 31 goals in the under-23s as well. So, yeah, it was pretty weak. Just quickly scroll down through the first team games, for those of you that didn't see this season. But if we look at the under-23s, look at all those wins. They didn't lose a single game. In fact, they won every single game but one. A draw against Sawbridgeworth. But look at the teams we were playing. You know, have you even heard of Hanley? Unless you're from there. Hanley under 23s. So it's very weak level of football. They're all greyed out players. So we need a bit more of a challenge. I don't know why they're not featuring in proper competitions, because we've been invited to the under 18s league every year. We just don't seem to play in it. Under 18s only lost a few games, 3 games, one of which was against the first team at the start of the season. So likewise, incredibly strong team, incredibly weak teams we were playing with some very good players. So although on paper it looks like they've done an incredible job, which yes, they have, you can only beat who's in front of you. We have to put it into context. Just because they've scored 47 goals for the under-23s, it doesn't mean they're going to score 20 goals for the first team, unfortunately. I've done this wrong. I want to look at the under-23s. But I am starting to think, well, maybe Agu could be our 4th choice striker next year. So Mark Ball and Ryan Curtis, our front 2. And then Grant Hunt as our backup. But just leave Agu as our 4th choice. He scored a league goal at the end of the season, of course. He can finish. And I'm tempted to sort of bring him off the bench every now and then as an all-time top goal scorer, and he might score the odd goal. I don't know. It's tempting to do that, because looking at the first team, yeah, we're going to have to release some players and improve the team. Defensively, we need to improve it, but attacking-wise, we're great. But maybe someone like Mark Holt, we might be able to... In fact, we can't sell him. His contract's up, and I don't think he's good enough for League One. I have to make harsh decisions sometimes. I'll just quickly introduce you to our new players. The first of which, Lewis Young, I've basically signed because of the link with Jack Young. I just imagine he's related. I know Young is a common last name, but there we go. He's a striker as well, so there's just that romantic in me that wants him to go on and be the next Jack Young, but I don't think he will. Dominic Thompson, another striker that we've signed. Only 5 players I brought in from this current youth intake. Dylan Davies is the best. He's an alliterative name, which is always a bonus, but look at that potential. He's definitely got the best potential that we've seen for a long time from the under-18s. Rory Hunt is another. Might be related to Grant Hunt, you never know. In fact, let's have a quick look. Might be. Does it say? No. And the last one is goalkeeper John Shepherd. But that's it. I mean, all the players that have contract expiring in 2027, I think I'm going to release. Apart from Tyler Cherry, who I've given a new contract to because he's just a perfectionist. But yeah, we're going to have a very small under-18s team next year. There's a few players in the under-23s that will be released as well. Might give Mosh Jan another go, another contract. But other than that, well, there's a lot of players on non-contracts, of course. But yeah, I think these players, 2027... Shay Skinner, might hang on to him for another season because he's actually quite good. Let's take a look then at the other leagues. I've gone through to the 31st of May 2027. Long way into the future now. Liverpool champions on goal difference ahead of Spurs. Only 1 point ahead of Man United as well. Very tight at the top. Quite a different looking Premier League as well. I've seen Crystal Palace, Watford and Preston relegated. In fact, it's not that different, is it? Aston Villa and Leeds are in there. But other than that, and Preston, who've just been relegated, yeah, not a massively surprising Premier League, I suppose. Championship, Huddersfield promoted with 100 points. West Brom went up as well, along with Fulham via the playoffs. Millwall, Bristol City and Bolton relegated to League One. So we're going to be taking on Millwall, Bristol City and Bolton Wanderers next season. League One then, we won't be taking on Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers in the Championship and Bristol City in League One. So Bristol Rovers have gone up with Sheffield Wednesday and Hull City have gone up via the playoffs. Doncaster, Cheltenham, Wigan and Bradford City, we're not going to take on them. These are the teams that we will be taking on next season. So maybe you can stick in your early predictions now. What do you reckon we'll do next year? There's 4 relegation places. It's a tough old league. There's League One. And I can confirm that Chester, 4th place Chester, went up via the playoffs. With us, Oxford United and Chesterfield Burton and Billericay relegated to the National League, where Wrexham were promoted as champions on goal difference. In fact, head-to-head, probably. Or got games won, maybe. Look at this. Woking, 95 points. Same goal difference. Same goals scored and goals conceded. That is... wow. That's as tight as you can get. Kettering went up via the playoffs, so 7th place Kettering, promoted to the Football League. Stockport, Kidderminster, Wickham and Chorley relegated. And I'll just show the north and the south. FC United and Dunstable promoted. Braintree, Stocksbridge and Brackley relegated. And then the National League South, won by Dulwich Hamlet, with Maidstone going up via the playoffs. Phoenix Sports, Phoenix rivals with us, of course. There's a few teams with a Phoenix link. FA Cup then, let's move on to that. That was won by Man United, beating Newcastle in the final. League Cup, won by Man United as well, beating Man City on penalties. Cracking final, that one. And what else? Charity Shield, we've got Man City winning that against Man United. Football League Trophy, which we did pretty well in, but in the end it was an all-Premier League final. Man United under-23s beat Spurs under-23s in the final. That's pretty boring, isn't it? FA Trophy, Man United have done rather well. Ebbsfleet beat Kettering 2-0 in the FA Trophy. And let's just have a look at the old competition. We took part in Southern League Cup, won by Lowestoft. In the Hampshire Senior Cup, which we've won once, of course, won by Aldershot. They've won 3 of the last 4 finals. They are, well, with us, the best team in this competition now. League 2 team, of course. We're going to be a League 1 team taking part in this next year, which doesn't quite seem right, but I will be playing the youngsters in this competition, whereas Aldershot probably put out quite a strong team because it's a final at St Mary's Stadium. Winchester City have done very well in this competition. They've won it twice, runners-up twice. They finished 8th in the National League South. They've done quite well overall on this save, our rivals. Financially, haven't really shown this. We're minus 282 grand in debt now, since we've had a bit of payment come in for... solidarity payments, that's for being in League 2. So yeah, hopefully the financial situation will eventually rectify itself. The problem is with this, although it's not had a massive impact on us, the impact it has had is the fact when I ask for things from the board, if I want to go on a course, I can't because there's no money. I can't improve the training facilities, the youth level. Nothing can be improved. We're just stagnant because of all this money going out of the club. I mean, a lot of the money was for expanding the stadium, so there's that debt to be repaid. But, look at this. I'm paying, 10 grand under a week, the wage budget. But we're still not making enough money to make a profit, and that's a problem. But hopefully it'll be a bit easier in League 1. But I think we'll end it there. Thank you for watching the 9th season. Thank you for watching this recap. Hope you're looking forward to the start of the 10th season of Regen Rovers, where we will be playing in League 1. Not long to go now, hopefully, until we can get to the promised land of the Premier League. We'll see if we can get a second successive promotion, but I'll be very surprised if we can. However, if we can keep this momentum going, if we can get the best out of this tactic, tweak it a little bit, improve the defence, maybe change the wing-backs to full-backs, there's just things to be thought about in the summer, then you never know, we might be able to pull off a shock. A few people have been asking about kits. I've had one sent in to me, but we need a few more before we can change them, I think. I've got some old ones which I could include in a poll, but maybe that when we get promoted to the Championship, we'll change the shirts. So if you do want to design some new shirts for the club to appear here, to appear on thumbnails, to appear wherever, then please send them in. That would be much appreciated. But until next time, enjoy FM19, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you very soon.